What is up, YouTube? Johnny here again today, and we're going to be bringing you a new video for this weekend. It's not going to be of the IS300 build. This week I'm actually going to be working on my Jeep. It's been a while since I've driven it. Last time I drove it was actually in one of the videos. It was FJ versus Jeep. There's going to be a link down below if you guys want to take a look at that. But basically what happened that day is that we did a lot of mountain climbing, we did some rock crawling, we did a bunch of off-roading, and I think I even crossed through a couple rivers. So on our way back through the freeway, the Jeep actually decided to just shut off completely as I was going on the freeway, so we had to get it off the freeway, pull it over to the side, and tow it to the shop. So ever since that day, it's actually just been sitting here. And the reason why that happened is that my fuel pump went out. It was already showing signs that it was going out. Like when I was gonna start it, it would kind of hesitate to start sometimes, like it wasn't getting enough fuel because my pressure was low. But now it finally gave out after a full day of off-roading, so luckily I was able to make it back before then. So this video, what we're gonna be doing is replacing it. So in case you guys have a Jeep or are planning on getting one of these, the process is gonna be fairly simple. You know, it's gonna be similar to this. So I hope that this video helps you guys out. So we're gonna go ahead and start on that. All right, so to start off the process of removing the fuel pump, we actually need to drop our tank. But before we do that, we need to go ahead and disconnect the filler hose, which has 8 Phillips screws. So all you have to do is go ahead and remove those, and then that's gonna be loose, and then we can go ahead and go underneath to remove the tank. Alright guys, I'm not going to be using the lift just because of the fact that I don't have a high lift jack, so I'm going to be using this regular jack to hold the tank as I loosen it up, loosen all the bolts, and then to bring it down. So I'm just going to be working on the Jeep on the ground. Luckily, since it's lifted, it's a bit easier to work on the ground, and it gives you guys a better reference for those of you that are going to be doing it at home and don't have a lift, to see how difficult it is exactly. So now that I have the jack on there and I'm holding the tank, we're gonna go ahead and have to take off 7 bolts or 7 nuts that it has all along the sides that are basically holding it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me show you guys where those bolts are at. All right, so on the back side of this, there are 4 nuts. There's 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. This one you don't actually have to remove, so don't worry about that one. So we're gonna go ahead and start by removing these ones. Okay, so on the front side of the tank, there are 3 nuts that have to be removed. 2 of them are right by the diff. So I'm gonna show you guys where that's at, and one of them is really hard to get on video. It's actually on the side of the exhaust, right beside the shock. So just so you guys know that there's one there, and that'll be it for those. And after that, the fuel tank should be loose. So let me go ahead and do this one that you guys can't really see. Alright, so to fully disconnect the tank from the actual Jeep, there are 3 things on this one. There's this connection plug right here. There is this vacuum line right here. And then there's the actual fuel line, which is the one right behind it. So those 3 things are the only thing holding it in place right now at the moment. That's the only way I can't, that's the only reason why I can't drop it. So let's go ahead and disconnect this. that. For the vacuum lines, all you really need to do is twist it a little bit, and it should just pull right off like that. And then for the fuel lines, all you have to do is press on this back piece right here, and then you can pull it off. Alright, so after those 3 connections were disconnected, I was actually able to just bring the tank fully down, and then right now it's laying on the jack, and I was just able to twist it out a little bit, just pull it out enough to where I can actually see where the fuel pump is at. That way I don't have to take it out, you know, too far away. I'll just put the fuel pump in there and then just scoot it back in and then put it back on. So it's fairly simple. So I'm gonna show you guys how I have it set up right now. So I just literally pulled it out a little bit. This is where your fuel pump is at. So now we have to go ahead and take this out and put the new one in. So let me show you how we do that. Okay, so now that we're at this step, it's time to take out the fuel pump. But to take out the fuel pump, there's a ring that's holding it in that's actually really difficult to take off. They sell a special tool for you to wrap it around and actually take it off, but I don't have the special tool, and I don't really want to go buy a special tool that I'm not really going to use again. So what I'm going to be using to take this off is a hammer and a chisel. So most of us don't want to go buy a special tool for something, so if you have these 2 tools, which are very common, it'll be easy to remove. So what you do is you line it up on one of the creases. So come look at here, it has a bunch of rings around it. So I'm just gonna line up the chisel with one of the rings, and you just have to hammer it down. Alright, so now that we loosened up this ring right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this hose. By removing this hose right here, it gives me enough space to get the ring out. So now, all we have to do is pull this out. Alright, so now that we got the old fuel pump out, that one is completely done. I went ahead and ordered a new one, but instead of just ordering the fuel pump itself, I went ahead and ordered the complete assembly, which is just basically you slide it back in and you connect it, and it already comes with the original factory harness. So what it has is it has a new fuel filter, and then it has a new fuel level sensor. So in case any of those were about to go out, you know, it's better to just swap out the whole thing. That way you don't have to go through the whole process of bringing down your fuel tank once again. Might as well get it all done once you're already there. So this is it. Time to put it back on. Three, two, one, go. Okay, so in case you went ahead and just removed your fuel pump and threw the new one in and you forgot which way it's actually supposed to go, there's an arrow indication on there that's supposed to be pointing towards the front of the vehicle. So let's say, you know, it doesn't matter which orientation you have your tank, whichever way is forward is the way that the arrow goes. That way you know how to place it exactly the same way. Also that the line is going to be lining up with the one that comes from the body, and the connector just kind of curls around it, so that's not really an issue. So that's just to help you out to know which way to position your fuel pump. If your new fuel pump doesn't come with one of these, you can always remove this one, or make sure you have one in the packaging. So if you don't have one, you can go ahead and remove this one just by lifting up this little tab right here and getting it over, and doing that on both sides will enable you to pull this out. There we go. So that gets this off. That way you can put it onto your new one, or if you have one, you can just go ahead and put the new one on there. Now that we have all that done, everything is put how it should be. All you have to do is put it all in reverse order. So the process is the same exact thing, just reversed, and you'll be able to put it all back together. It's getting a little dark out, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below in the comment section. And as always, you guys have a great day.